Hi, I'm Tom and this is Adult Game Reviews. Are you a new viewer of the channel, or maybe you consider yourself a beginner in the genre? I get it. We've all been there. I remember being a beginner. I just have to say, welcome home.
Could I have a hug?
Hog, get away from me, you lazy-eyed psycho!
We are here to help and support you. If you have ever asked someone who plays 18+ VNs, Jrpgs, dating sims, etc. for recommendations, we love to talk about them, and we will absolutely give you our opinions. Sometimes, even when you didn't ask. I say this with love, but you know who you are.
Busted!
So let me tell you where I think you should start. There are even some games on this list that I haven't played. How does that make sense? Well, I asked my Patreon community to tell me what their first games were and what got them into 18+ games in general. So this is a two-part video. Now, before I get a bunch of comments about why a number of famous in-development games aren't on this list, the first part are only completed games, or very close to it. Next week, I will talk about in-development games. So if the game that got you started in adult games aren't on this list and it's complete, then put yours down in the comments. Just FYI, this isn't a best list. Some of these games you may consider best in genre, but I consider all these games a good stepping stone into adult gaming. I broke these down into categories, so at a minimum you will get at least one recommendation for each category. Also, if you liked the video, please like it and subscribe if you feel like it. The next Steam card giveaway will be at 25,000 subs, so let's see if we can get there before the summer. Thank you all for the support, I appreciate it. Okay, let's get on to the list. First category is dating sims. There are a lot of dating sims, but I'm going to add two because they are very different. What makes a good dating sim? Well, in my view, it's actually seeing the consequences of your actions. I love this about dating sims. So one game that really shows the consequences of your actions, Hush Hush, Only Your Love Can Save Them. I'm not sure what it is with dating sims, but I usually have to use a guide with them because if you don't, they can be as hard as Dark Souls or as grindy as a Korean MMO. Hush Hush has voice acting, multiple paths, an overall story, subpar lewd content, choice-based date mechanics, you get a better grade, and you can unlock different unique renders by getting high grades on your dates. I mean, there's just a lot there. I love Hush Hush. It's a great game that I recommend to anyone wanting to try out dating sims. This was the game that even got my girlfriend Emily into dating sims, so that's a personal victory for me.
Everything's coming up Millhouse.
Hush Hush really shows you how complex these games can be, and best of all, it's complete, which you can get on Steam, but use a guide. You'll thank me later. The next dating sim I want to recommend is Date Ariane. This is a classic visual novel style dating sim that Annie over at SPG reviewed. It has been remastered, which is good. You have a female MC, and you likely don't need a guide to play it. Even remastered, the graphics can look a bit dated, but a good choice if you're starting out with adult dating sims. And if you want a female protagonist, this is a good place to start. I'll put a link in the description to SPG's video, and a big thanks to Luna Moth for the great recommendation. Next, we're moving on to emotionally focused VNs. I have two very different ones to give you guys. The first one is, of course, Leap of Faith by Jrpgs. This is a classic for me and has brought many people into our small area of the gaming world. The VN focuses on very emotionally heavy topics, which it does give trigger warnings for. If you can deal with those, then you're in for an emotional journey. You play the male MC who is trying to get his life back on track after he loses his job and girlfriend. CC is my all-time favorite love interest in any game, and I have a hard time playing Leap of Faith and picking a different girl, but maybe that's just me. Thanks Necrotoaster and Chad for also recommending Leap of Faith. The second recommendation for emotionally focused VNs, I mean, there's no way that I can make a list like this and not put on Acting Lessons by Dr. Pancake. Acting Lessons, the first VN from many that showed how emotional an AVN can be. The girls are great, and you're put into various situations that can really hit hard emotionally, unless you're a robot.
No feelings, no emotions, no pain.
Now, if only Dr. Pinkcake would finish BAD like he did with Acting Lessons, we would all be better off. Acting Lessons was recommended by me and a bunch of my Patreon members. A 10 for the win, Rasser, Romeo, so it's not just me. Go play it. The next category is, do you want a VN that's funny? Well, you can't go wrong with Once in a Lifetime as your first game. There are so many times that I laughed sitting at my desk scaring Emily while I played Once in a Lifetime. This is the only one on the completed list because I don't think you really need another. You play the MC who moves into his stepmother and stepsister's house while you finish your final year of high school. Oh, and you try to stop an evil plot from destroying the world. Be right back. I'm gonna go play this right now.
You're a man.
Okay, back. Yep. Still worth it. Let's move on to the horror genre. I have two horror games to recommend if you're new. One is really weird, and that's Superhuman by Weird World. Technically, Superhuman isn't finished, but it's very, very close, and you can get the latest build for free over on Weird World's Patreon. I did a review of that in late 2022, so if you want more info on that, you can check that video out in the description. It was worth it if you like uncomfortable transformation games, plus the combat is awesome, and there are a lot of flavors, and you know what, there's just a ton of content in general. The second horror recommendation is Ravager. Ravager might be more thriller than pure horror, but close enough. If you start with Ravager, you may be ruined for other horror type games. Ravager is brutal and where you are a red dragon trying to take back your kingdom. Okay, so There are much more brutal VNs out there. I know this. Most I can't ever mention on YouTube. So you can ask for those recommendations in the AGR Discord, but I would try something like Ravager first if you were new. Mostly due to the production value because it's really good. It's also a choose your own adventure game and there are varying paths and endings. You can check out my review of Ravager as well down below. Next, we're going to move on to, and I hope I don't screw this up, Eroge. I'm an Eroge beginner, so this is a new category for me too. I mostly play Western VNs, but I'm going to try more Eroge. The first one I would start with is Aiyo Senkai Gold, a new conquest. This is tamer than the Rant series and has an 18+ patch you can purchase if you want it. I will put the link to that over on my Patreon, link in the description. You play a young man that takes up his sword and leads an army to challenge the current ruler and find his missing past. You can find this one over on Steam. The only reason I haven't tried any Eroge is simply due to how long these games are. This one could take you up to 70 hours to play through. With my full-time job in the channel, this is hard for me to commit to, but I really want to play it. So I may check this one out for a review later this year. Thank you, Sen, for your recommendation on that one. The next category is Jrpgs, and I would recommend Fallen Machina in the City of Ruins. I'm also not a big JRPG fan, mostly because I am turned off by the grindy nature of RPG Maker games. But this is another one that will force me to get out of my Western AVN comfort zone. This is a classic dungeon crawler JRPG. You play Machina, a renowned swordswoman whose job is to figure out the strange happenings in the city of Gardona. You fight monsters and meet other adventures on the way. Thanks, Eric, for your recommendation of Fallen Machina in the City of Ruins, and another one I will be trying out at some point this year. Lastly, it's hard to have a list of beginner games and not actually put in the college genre. You have to play College Kings 1. I would not recommend playing College Kings 2. It's been a while for me, but the last time I played College Kings 2, I just wanted to go back to College Kings 1. Plus, it's free if you look over on Steam, so check that one out. To me, this is a great place to start if you like the college genre, and you should play it even if there are a lot of other college games out there. This was a first for so many and for good reason. So hopefully you found some of the games on this list, whether you're new or maybe you're seasoned and haven't played some of these. This is a good place to start. I apologize for not giving a ton of information, mostly because the Eroge games I don't know much about, but I trust the people giving those recommendations. Comment down below what games got you into adult games, or if you want any other categories highlighted in the future videos. I want to thank all my patrons for all the support. If you're thinking about supporting the channel, you can check us out over at patreon.com/adultgamereviews. Look out for my part 2, and if you haven't seen my review of the DeLuca family, you can check that out right here. Thanks again. Until next time.